right, so let's hop into these Week 10 NFL games real quick. So the first game that we have on deck is going to be the Texans versus the Browns. So as it stands right now, Houston's looking for its second win in a row as they travel up to Cleveland. And last week, the Browns are coming off of a loss to the Raiders, and they're looking to bounce back this week. So for this matchup, I like the Browns here. I think the Browns adding Nick Chubb back into the lineup is going to really help them out. I think really with Nick Chubb back in the lineup and them splitting carries between Chubb and Kareem Hunt is really going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I think the Texans defense is just not going to stand up against that. And it's also expected that Houston is not going to have David Johnson this week as he's still recovering from a concussion. And also I think Baker gets back on track this week. He had a woeful performance against the Raiders last week. I think he only threw for 120 yards. He's going to really step it up this week against the Texans. So I got the Browns winning this one. I think for the score, I'm going to have it 28-20. So up next, we got the Washington football team going up against the Detroit Lions. So for this matchup, really both teams are trying to stay alive in the playoff race. Really, despite the odds being against them, though, Washington is losing ground in the NFC East NFC East playoff race, and the Lions are really kind of looking on the outside in at this point. But for me personally, this is kind of a tough pick because they're kind of in a similar situation. But I'm gonna go with Washington here. I'm only picking Washington simply because I want to see Alex Smith get his first win as a starter since that horrific leg injury that he suffered about 2 years ago. So for me, it would just be a feel-good story if Washington gets this win. And I think in this game, I think they get it by the score of 21-17. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Washington gets the win. So up next, we got the Buccaneers versus the Panthers. This is going to be an interesting divisional game for sure. The Panthers are coming off of a really close loss to Kansas City last week, and the Bucs are coming off their worst loss of the season. It's really a game I'm still having nightmares to this day because I went to that game. But in this matchup, I like the Bucs here. I think Brady bounces back in a big way this week. Also, I think the Bucs defense slows down Teddy Bridgewater, and it doesn't help the Panthers that they're going to be without Christian McCaffrey again. I believe he suffered a shoulder injury last week against the Chiefs. So I like the Bucs in this one. I got them winning by the score of 30-21. So up next, we got the Eagles and the Giants. This is kind of a less interesting divisional game than the last one I just talked about with the Bucs and the Panthers. The Eagles do have an opportunity to get to a 500 overall record for this season if they get the win. And the Giants do have a shot to close the gap in their fight to get to the division title, even though they still have an uphill battle. I'm going to go with the Giants on this one. I just don't like how Carson Wentz has been playing the last few weeks. He's been really turning the ball over, not just once per game, but he's turned the ball over multiple times in the last few games that he's been in. Just too many turnovers from the Eagles. I think the Giants' defense is going to force a few of those again this week. I believe the Giants are going to edge out a win very similar to what they did against Washington last week. I got the Giants winning this one 24-20. So up next, we got the Jaguars versus the Packers. This is an easy pick right here. I got the Packers all day for this one. I think Aaron Rodgers has another big day against Jacksonville. Wouldn't surprise me if he connects with Devontae Adams for a touchdown or two. And to be honest, I'd be surprised if Jacksonville scores more than 17 points this game. I got the Packers winning this one 30-14. So up next, we got the Bills and the Cardinals. To me, this is a really good game here between these two. The Bills are looking to improve to 8-2 on the year, and the Cardinals are looking to keep pace in the NFC West with the Seahawks at this point. I'm kind of torn on this one because I think both teams have a real good shot to win this one, but I like the Cardinals here. I think Josh Allen is going to perform well, but I think Kyler and the crew get the edge here just because I don't think that the Bills defense is going to hold up against that offense. I think Kyler and DeAndre Hopkins are going to pair up for a touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised if DeAndre Hopkins has a big day, even despite the fact he's probably going to be matched up against Tre'Davious White. But I just don't see the Cardinals defense giving up another 30-point performance to another AFC team in back-to-back weeks. So I got the Cardinals winning this one. I'm going to go with a score of 30-24. So up next, we got the Chargers versus the Dolphins. So this is definitely a good matchup of two rookie quarterbacks who could be potential stars in the league in the future. For the Chargers, they've had 2 heartbreaking losses the last 2 games. And as far as the Dolphins go, they're kind of a team. They're a team on the rise right now. Right now, they're 5-3. They had a good win against the Cardinals last week, so they're definitely on the rise here. In this matchup, I like the Dolphins here. I think the Dolphins' offense has looked great, especially against the Cardinals last week. And the defense has really stepped up and made some big, crucial plays, not just last week, but 2 weeks ago against the Rams as well. And I think that continues here. So I got the Dolphins winning this one 27-21. So up next, we got the Broncos versus the Raiders. So for this game, this will be an interesting matchup because I think both teams are going to score a lot of points. It's just because both defenses do have a tendency to give up a lot of points. I think Drew Lock is going to play well in spurts this game. But I just think overall, I think Derek Carr is going to have a better performance. And not only that, I think Derek Carr has had kind of an underrated year so far. Right now, he's thrown 16 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. So he's done a really good job in getting points for his team, but not giving the ball up too much. So with that said, I like the Raiders here. They've won their last 2 games, and I think they make it a 3-game winning streak here. So I like the Raiders winning this one 28-21. So up next, we got the Seahawks versus the Rams. Now, for me personally, this is probably my favorite divisional matchup of the week. I think the Rams have a very good chance to put a lot of points up on the board against this atrocious defense that the Seahawks have. However, I do think Russell Wilson can match that against the Rams defense just based on the season that he's had so far. I think for the pick here, I'm going to go with the Rams. I could really make a pick for either or. I'm just going to go with Los Angeles here. I just think Seattle's putting too much weight on Russell's shoulders right now. And I think against the Rams, it's going to be too much pressure for him. I expect Aaron Donald to make his presence felt. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets a sack or 2, get some knockdowns on Russell Wilson as well. And I've also got a feeling that Jared Goff is going to have a big day against this Seahawks defense. He's probably going to throw 2 or 3 touchdowns. So I got the Rams winning this one in a shootout by the score of 35-31. So up next, we got the Bengals and the Steelers. So for this game, the Steelers are looking to improve to 9-0 to start the season. But the Bengals are a team that I think the Bengals are a team that can give the Steelers problems. Joe Burrow has been playing well the last few games that he's been in. And they did have an impressive win against the Titans before their bye week. With that said, though, I've got the Steelers winning this one. I just don't see the Steelers playing down to their competition 2 weeks in a row. They barely got a win in Dallas last week. I don't think it's a repeat performance in this one. I think they beat Cincy here 27-21. So we got the 49ers and the Saints up next. This is a fairly easy pick here. I've got the Saints winning big in this one. If the Saints play anywhere like they did, anywhere near they played last week against the Bucs, they should beat the brakes off the 49ers. At this point, I don't know what the 49ers offense can really do. They're going to be without Jimmy G, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Tevin Coleman, and Raheem Mostert, which is essentially their entire offense. This is way too much to overcome in this one. I've got the Saints winning big here, 31-14. So for the Sunday night matchup, we've got the Ravens versus the Patriots. So for the Ravens, they're coming off of a solid win to the Colts last week. And the Patriots beat the Jets last week in a walk-off field goal. So pretty much every game that the Patriots play for the rest of the season is a must-win for them. And I think going up against the Ravens, it's going to be quite a challenge for them. Now, Lamar has been shaky the last few weeks. I think in this game, though, I think they're going to focus on running the ball. New England's defense has been shaky against the run this year. I think for the pick, I like the Ravens here just because I think their defense on top of their offense will be able to slow down Cam and the Patriots offense. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Ravens defense forces a turnover or 2. The Ravens offense gets close to 30, but I don't think they get to 30 in this one. I got the Ravens winning this one 28-24. And then for the last game of the week, this will be the Monday night game. We got the Vikings versus the Bears. So for this game, the Vikings just better get the ball to Dalvin Cook because he's been cooking the last 2 weeks. He's had almost 400 yards rushing. He's had 5 touchdowns on top of it in his last 2 games. He's been a man amongst boys as far as I'm concerned. If the Bears defense can't slow him down in any way, shape, or form, good luck because the Bears offense won't be able to keep pace with that. I think I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. The Bears offense just hurts to watch. And I think it's going to be more of the same this week. I don't expect Nick Foles to really get that offense going. And it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't play well, if we see a Mitchell Trubisky sighting for the Bears maybe sometime in the second half. So I've got the Vikings winning this one 24-17.